Hello and welcome to week two. I apologize for the lateness of this, but I was traveling and it just didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. So I apologize. Next week I will be hopefully back on track and have everything to you by Monday. I do have to apologize again. Before this happens, I have a cat here, so if he just interrupts in any way, I apologize. I've been gone, so he wants to be where I'm at. All right, so let's share the screen to get ready for this week. It's showing that one, so we should be fine. So for week two, we're going to go off of what we already learned with the macro ingredients, of course. Do a little bit more about nutrition. Macro and the macro and micronutrients as well. So the learning objectives for this week is explain the functions of nutrients, including micronutrients and supplements, and supporting the health and activity of moderately active adults. Apply evidence-based nutrition guidelines to create personal nutrition plan that supports a healthy, active lifestyle. Apply course concepts and learning in a virtual laboratory environment. So, what to read and watch here is read chapters 1 and 2 in Basics Foundations of Nutrition for Sports Performance. And then read an introduction to the athlete's nutrient and diet basics, the athlete's diet basic tools. Read how to count micros, a step-by-step guide, which will be helpful. And then, of course, visit, and we'll go to this right now, visit My Plate webpage. So, just so you know, it has been updated with the new dietary guidelines and the new food pyramid or whatever we're calling it. So anyway, just so you know, it is updated. So you're going to have updated information about the new guidelines and what they are. So I highly recommend you go through that, go through all of it, and look it over. It's just gonna, we don't talk about the food pyramid a lot in this class, but we do talk about the micronutrients or the macros a lot. And so that should help you with a background on it. Read this or listen to this TED Talk about a calorie, which is very, I think it's really good. And then this other one is Fitness Flicks. Am I getting enough carbohydrates? Some carbs are going to be a big thing in this class, so it's good to get a good foundation and learn as much as you can about that. All right, for the first discussion, 2.1, you will be replying to classmates in this one. So, and I see some of you have already done this. Look great. But just so you know, again, I don't mark down points if you don't have this done by, it says Wednesday. It's fine if you do. It will show a 0 until I go in there and grade it, but just so you know, and I'm not going to mark down for late grades. Remember the my rubrics for this is 15 points if you do the initial discussion, then I take off, then it's 18 points if you, no, 17 points if you reply to one, and then the full 20 if you reply to two. All right. Anyway, so for this week, it's imagine you're advising a moderately active adult who walks 30 minutes daily and plays recreational soccer on the weekends. What are the top three nutrition priorities you recommend and why? I would say, you know, say I, for an example, you would say carbs. I think carbs are a good thing and explain why you think carbs are. You can refer back to the assigned readings from week 1 and 2, which would be to support your recommendations. And then again, reply to two classmates. And when you reply to the two classmates, comment on things they recommend that you didn't, or vice versa, you did, and say why you agree or disagree with the recommendation, and or say what you would add or adjust in their recommendations. So, for an example, if they didn't include carbs, you say, "Hey, I said I wanted carbs. Why didn't you include carbs? Because I think carbs are whatever you think." Okay. So good couple, two, three sentences on that. Your first one probably should be has top three nutrition priorities. At least a couple sentences on top of those is what I'd be looking for. Just so you know. Okay. So this one isn't a bullet point. This is a true really thoughtful couple sentences on each. Okay, is what I'm looking for. All right, the second one here is your hands-on food. This is why it was important to finish your last week's assignment. If you haven't, I haven't looked at who's finished and who hasn't. Right now, I was going to start grading them, but I have a question for somebody, so I'm waiting for an answer on that. So just so you know, I was planning on grading them tomorrow. If I don't get to them tomorrow because my answer isn't answered, I'll get to them on Friday for sure. Okay. All right, because you will need that food journal from last week for this week's. All right. So, step one, what you're going to do, determine your individual caloric and macronutrient needs. So, referring to our week one and week two course materials, the USDA Departments of Agriculture's My Plate webpage, and I don't think it's really called My Plate anymore, but it's just so you know, and the How to Count Macros, a step-by-step guide with this caloric and macronutrient tool. Determine your individual caloric macronutrient needs. Specifically determine your daily recommend requirements for carbs, proteins, and fats, and overall calorie. So I want something to say what, you know, this is what I calculated, this is what I have. Okay, this is what my calculation is for proteins, fats, and carbs, and total calories. Okay, so it should include four things. Also, take note of the recommended macronutrient percentage ranges. What percentage of your daily calorie needs should come from protein and what percentage from fat. Okay, so that's step number one. All right, and that is right from our readings, those last couple of readings that I talked about. All right, please email me with any questions. All right. Then the next one is you're going to download a blank template. Okay, this is the blank template you're going to download. All right. Here you're going to take from your food journal from last week, and I highly recommend you download this one or make one very, very similar to this one. So you're going to put in here the meal type, so breakfast, all right, or lunch, or early morning snack, whatever it's called. Time you ate it. So it was really important that in your other journal, your journal from last week, you put the time, all right? So 6 a.m. Food items, what did you have? Or, I would say one food per row. All right. So let's say eggs. All right. What are eggs? You can go and look and see from that. You can use AI to see what it is, whatever tool you want to use, okay, to figure out what it is. Now, some of these could be mostly carbs. Now, if the little check boxes don't show up, you can just circle them or highlight them in a different color, like carbs, however it works, okay? Here, it's not showing little boxes, but just so you make sure that I know what it is. So if it's mostly carbs, highlight it or circle it or whatever. And then if it has a little bit of protein in it, stick protein in there. All right. Or vice versa. Protein. Now we know eggs are protein, so it's going to be protein. Does it have a little bit of carbs in it? Look to see. How the precise portion size. Was it two? Was it three? How many eggs did you have? And then this, of course, is only for the activity. So again, over here, you're not going to put meal type or time or food items. You're going to put whatever activity it is. I guess you're going to put it right here. And then intensity. Okay. What you had. All right. Back here, it does show. Oh, it didn't take me back to where I thought. Okay. It is going to show. Um, it was, yeah. So this is an example. All right. Example of what it should be. Right here it says copy or paste, use them mostly a little check boxes. As you can see right here, they had 2 slices of toasted bread. They put breakfast, what time it was. It was mostly carbs and a little bit of protein. Okay. Um, and then it's pretty self-explanatory what you're going to do there. Okay. That's step two. Step three is going to be your reflection. All right. So on these ones, you're going to answer the following 4 items with a paragraph each. So I should have 4 paragraphs on this. Nice paragraphs. Remember, a paragraph is at least 3 to 4 sentences. All right. So number one, based on your analysis, how well does your current eating pattern align with general nutritional guidelines for active adults? This is going to be from your reading. You're going to find out. Okay. Need a paragraph about that. Next paragraph. What additional information would you need or what additional analysis would you need to determine with greater precision how well your current intake of macronutrients aligns with nutritional guidelines? Okay, that's in your reading as well. Paragraph about that. Number three, did you observe a connection between your dietary intake and your energy levels for physical activity over the days you gathered data? Okay, this is truly a reflection. What do you think? All right. Um, I'm looking for your opinions. Okay, I don't want A's opinion on this one. I want your opinions. All right. Number four, based on your observations and reflections, identify 2 to 3 specific areas where you could potentially modify your eating habits or physical activity patterns to better support your health and activity levels. Be realistic and suggest actionable steps. For an example, if you see that it should say that you should have 35% of your meals should be proteins and you only have 20%. One observation that says, well, I'm currently only eating, during my journal, currently only eating about 20% protein. I probably should look to increase my protein levels. All right. That would be a suggestion. All right. And that's a realistic. I would not suggest something really big because remember, this is for your own personal growth. And when you put a big goal in there, sometimes it's really hard to achieve. So small goals are always best to start with. Um, anyway, so then it says what to submit this week in a single Word document. Submit your work from steps 1 to 3. Use a heading at the top of each section. So the first one should say determine your individual step 1, determine your individual caloric and macronutrient needs. Okay, that's what, and then you're going to tell me what you calculated. Step 2, analyze your fuel items. This should be in there. All right. And number 3, with the heading, this is your reflection. All right. You can label those paragraphs 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. Or as long as I can understand what each paragraph is for. All right. I'm sorry for saying all right all the time. At the end of it, so for the information you obtained about your individual caloric and macronutrient needs, consider creating a table to neatly display the information. Not necessary unless, but just make it neat so I can see it. All right. At the end of the document, add a reference page in which you list the sources you use. So if you use things from your readings, list those. If you used AI, I need to see that you said that you used AI. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the reference page, but just so, and remember, AI is a tool. It shouldn't write your whole assignment. All right. Submit it. Tells you how to submit it. I believe this is worth, I think it's 20 points. So um, as long as you have everything there, you shouldn't have a problem with getting all the points. If you have any questions, please, please, please get a hold of me. I have office hours tomorrow from 3 to 4. I didn't hear from anybody saying that those wouldn't work for you. So um, jump on tomorrow from 3 to 4. That would be fine. Or you can email me. And like I said, I check emails quite frequently, at least once a day. And I will get with you. Okay? Again, any questions, let me know. And of course, answer the attendance questions so you can get your attendance points for this week as well. All right. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks.